Now, fellas, I cannot understand it. Who do you have to take? That's right. Who do you have to take? That man, did you take him?
I went out and put up
What?
I took my stuff.
You're only a senior. You made this mistake 15 times this fall. Now, you get with it. Damn it, I'm tired of it. You lose us a ball game, and by God, I'll throw you off the squad.
Welcome everyone to the channel. If it's your first time, welcome back if it's not. Today's subject is rather interesting. It's pretty close to home considering I'm an Ohio native here. Today we'll be talking about the life and death of former football coach Woody Hayes. And I'm currently standing outside of the Ohio State Stadium, otherwise known as the Shoe. Today's video we're going to walk around the Shoe here. Then we're gonna go over to a museum and see some of the trophies that Woody Hayes acquired with his time with the Ohio State Buckeyes. And then we're gonna go to the final resting place of Woody Hayes, all the while drinking my piping hot caffeinated beverage. And I'm a little excited because I do like football. However, I am more of a baseball guy, as you can see. So without further ado, let's go check out some of the history of Woody Hayes. So as you're watching this, you're probably thinking to yourself, Jordan, this isn't movie related. This isn't filming location related. But that's okay, because A, this is my YouTube channel. I can put whatever I want on it, even though it's technically not film related. However, it was on TV, and people here in the great state of Ohio, specifically Columbus, people consider Woody Hayes a celebrity for what he did on and off the football field. Let's check out the stadium here. All right, so here is the front of the stadium. How cool is this? Let's go take a closer look, see if we can see the field. Hopefully we can from a distance. I know that you can, because I've actually been here a few times. Check this out. Ohio Stadium, more than 100 years. Got the giant block O up there. Some of the players in the glass windows. Oh, here we go. You can kind of see through there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where the Ohio State Buckeyes play football. Very cool. So the stadium here is definitely a historical marker, but here's a little bit of history of the stadium here. The architect was Howard Dwight Smith, the contractor company E.H. Latham Company. They broke ground August 3rd, 1921. The first opening game was October 7th, 1922. It is 754 feet long by 597 feet wide, 107 feet tall, and a capacity of 63,000 feet for its time. It expanded in 1948, 1991, 2001, and 2014. As of 2022, the statistics now are 919 feet, 679 feet wide, 136 feet high and a capacity of 102,000 people. So you can fit over 100,000 people inside of the stadium. I want to check out the back of this one because I know it says something different. Oh yeah, fans nicknamed the new stadium the Shoe or Horseshoe in celebration of its unique shape. So that's why we all call it the Shoe. And it says 1974 Ohio Stadium was placed on the National Register of Historic Places. Very cool. So before we leave the stadium here, there's one more thing I want to show you, but I gotta walk to the back of the stadium. It's gonna take me a minute. So there is no question about it that Ohio State is very well known for their very famous marching band. Now take a look at this. This is a script, the Ohio State script right here, established in 1936. Now if you do watch the football games, you'll see that the marching band makes this script as they're playing their songs and marching out on the field. This is just one of the views that I wanted to show you. You can come here and get pictures with this and stuff and whatnot, but I wanted to show you guys this. Walk right over here. Check out the back of the stadium here. See, there's no sign on the other side, but there is this giant Ohio Stadium sign right there at the back of it. Very cool. Starting in 1951 as head coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes, he would then go on for 28 seasons. His teams were selected 5 times as national champions from various pollsters, including 1954, 1957, and 1968 from major wire services, AP poll, and the coaches poll. Additionally, his Buckeye teams captured 13 Big Ten conference titles and had a mass record of 205, 61, and 10. Now I know this is a video about Woody Hayes, but every time I come here, I can't help but to think of the individual who lived in this tower here. If anybody knows anything about the serial killer, Jeffrey Dahmer, in the early 70s, I believe, he lived in Morrill Tower there for a short time. I'm not sure of the room, I'd have to look it up, but he did live there for a brief period of time, only for a few months during the winter before he moved to Milwaukee. I think he left here and then he went straight into the military, but yeah, I always have to mention that every time I come here. Crazy. All right, I'm gonna attempt to pull off the impossible. There's a gate open over here. I'm gonna talk to the security guard and see if I can't get a quick glimpse inside the stadium. Fingers crossed. Wow, they actually let me in. Check this out. Behind the scenes of the stadium. This place is packed on game day. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Let's go check out the field. He said to come down between 23 and 25, and that's where we're at. Entrance right there. We're gonna go check this out. Can't go down any further, but still, oh man, look at this. This is so cool. Man, I'm the only one in here. Inside the stadium. This is awesome. I've been here before, but I sat way over there. Just imagine for a second that there's so much history on this field, watching the Buckeyes every Saturday. Now, I'm not as big of a football fan as my brother is. He is an Ohio State diehard fan. Would have been cool if he could have came. So, if you're watching this, this is for you. So cool. Aside from his astonishing record, some other interesting facts about Woody Hayes. In spite of this apparent willingness to avoid change, he became the first college head coach to recruit African American players, including Jim Parker, who played both offensive and defensive tackle on Hayes' first national championship in 1954. And then another recruit was Archie Griffin, who was the only two-time Heisman Trophy winner in 7 decades of selections. Altogether, Hayes had 58 players earn All-American honors under his tutelage, and he also had many assistant coaches over the years, such as Lou Holtz, Bill Arnsparger, Bill Mallory, Dick Crum, Bo Schembergler, Dwight Perry, Ara Parsagen, and his successor, Earl Bruce, all served as his assistants at various times. It's no secret that Woody Hayes was known to have a temper from time to time on and off the field, and there was even a few situations that even cost him, such as in 1959, following a 17-0 loss to USC, Hayes threw a punch at LA Examiner sports writer Al Bine, but missed, and punched the brother of Pasadena Independent sports editor Bob Schaefer. And then prior to the 1973 Rose Bowl, he shoved a camera into the face of a news photographer. As a result, he was suspended for 3 games and fined $2,000 and left California with a subpoena. The 1978 Gator Bowl, late in the fourth quarter after interception by Clemson player Charlie Bauman, after running out of bounds near the OSU sideline after getting up, Woody punched the player in the throat. Triggering a bench-clearing brawl, Hayes stormed onto the field and was abusive towards the referee and was assessed with a 15-yard penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. Man, that's a cool experience. I'm gonna have to go to one of the games this year, hopefully, see what happens. All right, so here I am at the next stop. No punt intended, but here I am at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center, where the Ohio State Buckeyes go to train and hang out. And we're gonna check out some of the trophies that Woody Hayes acquired over the time that he was the coach for Ohio State. Let's check it out. So just over the horizon there, you can kind of see the side of Morrell Tower. So the stadium is right around this area. So it's not very far from the stadium, the athletic center here, and we're gonna check it out. All right, so here we are, the athletic center. Take a look outside. Check this out. Have a more than life-size statue, Woody Hayes, right here. How cool is this? This thing is massive. That's crazy. Yeah. The Woody Hayes Athletics Center and the Les Wexner Football Complex. So we will take a look at that here in a few moments, but for now, we're gonna go inside in this glassy area and check out the trophies. So there's this little plaque thing right here beside the statue, and it just talks a little bit about Woody Hayes and his life. It says, "You can never pay back, but you can pay forward." Born Wayne Woodrow Woody Hayes, was a Buckeye from birth. Born in Clifton, Ohio, he spent his entire life giving back to the state he loved. Woody earned a bachelor's degree from Denison, which is right down the road from where I live in Granville, and a master's degree from Ohio State after serving 5 years in the United States Navy during World War II. He retired home to begin what would become one of the most decorated and successful coaching careers in college football history. Woody did more than teach others how to win on the field. He taught them how to win in life. Pretty cool. I think it's funny that even the trash cans say Ohio State on them. That's too funny. All right, let's go in, check out the Museum of Trophies. Even the door handle's a block O. All right, so here we are. Check this out. Man, this is cool. Look at all these trophies. They're all along the wall. Windows. There's a giant block O up there. That's awesome. So from 1951 to 1978 is when Woody Hayes was the coach. So there is some trophies up here along the windows. 1954, 1955, and then 70 through 1976 would have been when he coached. I'm just gonna walk along here and see. So check this out, the Big Ten, 2018. So I believe that Archie Griffin is the only person to win 2 Heismans. These are his trophies right here. 1975 and then 1974. That's cool. So if you're a fan of the NFL, current football, these are some of the jerseys of the former students of OSU who went on to play for the NFL. I know some of these. The Bosa's, Justin Fields, Chris Olave, Haskins Jr., and probably one of the most well-known right now, Ezekiel Elliott, playing for the Dallas Cowboys. And if you get bored looking at trophies, you can come in here and check out this little lounge area. It's pretty cool. It's got a giant screen, and you can come over here and pick what you want to watch. Game day experiences, the rivalry between OSU and that team up north, I won't mention that name, and some season highlights and whatnot. And it plays on the screen. Now, I've actually played it before, and it's really loud. The speakers, and it's really loud. It's pretty funny, but it's really cool. And I also like that right here in the middle of the lobby, they have these chairs and couches. I really like this table. You can just chill and hang out and look at trophies and jerseys and talk all things football. So up there along the top row of the window, there are some trophies from 1950, 1957, 1968, 73, and 77. So all those up there, some of them are the Rose Bowl. Looks like Grantland Rice and the Orange Bowl on the top right. So all of those would have also been won when Woody Hayes was coach. Very cool. So there's a few coach trophies here that I'm going to show you that were won during the time of Woody Hayes. This is the 1954 Ohio State trophy. That's pretty cool. We're gonna check this one out over here. This is really neat. 1957. Huge glass football right there. That's cool. $1961. The Grantland Rice Award. Here we have another one for 1968. Awesome. And I really like this one right here. This is the 1970 National Champions. It looks just like the stadium. And here's a few of the Heisman trophies. Troy Smith, Eddie George, and the 2 Archie Griffin ones. Here we have Howard Cassidy, Vic Janowicz, hopefully I'm saying that right, and Les Horvath. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Ohio State Trophy Room. And also a few more notable awards that Woody Hayes won over the years. The AFCA Coach of the Year, 1957. The Sports News College Football Coach of the Year, 1968. the Walter Camp Coach of the Year, also 1968, three-time Eddie Robinson Coach of the Year, 1957, 1968, and 1975, and then the Alonzo Stagg Award, 1986, and lastly, the two-time Big Ten Coach of the Year Award, 1973 and 1975. All right, this is just around the corner of the Woody Hayes Athletic Center where I just was. Now, these are the practice fields of the Buckeyes. There are two fields right here. So when the weather is nice, they're not playing indoors, which I believe if they play indoors would be right there, that building. But yeah, this is where they practice at. This is really cool. All right, so I made it to Union Cemetery here in Columbus, Ohio, and we're gonna check out the final resting place of Coach Woody Hayes. But before we do that, there are a few things that I'd like to talk about that I have some rather similar interests about the Ohio State Buckeyes. Let's talk about it. All right, so this one goes back to my childhood. This is a memory of mine, one of the earliest memories I have of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Very few people can relate to this, but the people that can were in my class at the time. It was my 8th grade year of junior high. I had this teacher. He was an American history teacher, go figure. A lot of people knew him for one specific reason. Let me paint this picture for you. American history class, there's globe right there. An older gentleman, glasses, real stern, had an attitude all the time, gray hair, had a comb over. Your typical, I would say typical history teacher probably. We've all had a teacher like that. Well, anyway, my brother had the same teacher growing up when he went to school there too. And what's funny is, his name was Mr. Stevens, but he loved the Ohio State Buckeyes. And he had up on his wall, right next to the clock, a picture of Woody Hayes. And any time that a student would get on his nerves, he would point up to that picture and say, "You're lucky that I don't teach this class just like Mr. Woody Hayes there. Mr. Woody Hayes, he was the man. He had it all. He was the best." It was a never-ending thing with him. Every day he would mention something about Woody Hayes and how great his teachings was and how much he wanted to be like Woody Hayes. And I remember this picture specifically. It was one of Woody Hayes' most famous pictures of him kneeling with the ball in his hand. Every day we'd come in there and get ready to leave. We'd look at the clock and we'd see old Woody Hayes up on the wall. So that's kind of funny that happened. And I'm sure a lot of other people can relate to a similar story probably growing up here in Ohio. So as I'm walking up to Woody Hayes' final resting place, just want to tell you guys a few things about Ohio State that us Ohioans pretty much live and breathe by. And I'm honestly really shocked because walking around campus wearing a blue hat, that's almost like committing a crime here in Ohio, because you don't, especially here in Columbus, because you don't wear blue down on the campus. I think we all know why, with the greatest rivalry between Ohio State and that team up north that I dare mention. But nobody has said anything so far, which I'm not on the campus now, but when I was, nobody said anything. But very rarely does anybody wear blue. It's gray, white, black, or red. So, kind of cool. And another thing that us Ohio State fans do is when you're out in public, no matter where you are, it could be at the gas station, it could be at the bowling alley, it could be at the movie theater, a restaurant, anywhere. I'm literally telling you, literally anywhere. If you yell 2 letters, somebody in that vicinity that hears you will respond with 2 other letters. So if I yell OH, nobody around here, somebody is going to yell back, "I-O!" This is one of Ohio State's greatest pastimes, because you could literally go anywhere in the state of Ohio, yell that, and somebody's going to yell it back to you. What other college team can you do that with? It's crazy to think. Ohio State fans, we're crazy, but we are crazy about football. I could say that I'm not as crazy, but I'm crazy about baseball. I'm a baseball person. I've already said that, but there are a ton of football fans. And we're all crazy. We all love sports. That's what it is. And another thing that the Ohio State fans do, we can spell out Ohio with our arms. One person points up, making an O. One person points up, sort of like an H, like a goalpost. Somebody points up, making a point, making an I. And another person points up, making an O. You have probably seen tons of photos, tons of pictures online of people, probably at the game if you watched the game, of people in the stands or whatnot. All right, so as I'm approaching section 12 here at the Union Cemetery, we're gonna walk over and see the final resting place, Woody Hayes, right over here. Not too hard to find. Kind of sets off from the mausoleum in the background there. And he is laid to rest right over here with his wife. And you kind of can't miss it. It's the only resting place decorated with Ohio State stuff. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Final resting place of Wayne Woodrow Woody Hayes. Now, as you can see, people have left some little trinkets. There's a koozie, Ohio State. Looks like some sort of ornament, a glove, some coins, a necklace, an Ohio State ID. And somebody has been here recently, because I've seen this grave in the last month, and somebody has come to decorate it. A native of Clifton, Ohio, he was the youngest of 3 children born to Wayne B. and Effie Hayes. He played center at Newcomerstown High School and also attended Denison University. He played tackle under Coach Tom Rogers and was a member of the Sigma Chi fraternity. After graduating, he went on to serve as an assistant at 2 local high schools, Mingo Junction and New Philadelphia. And then in 1941 of July, he enlisted into the Navy, rising to the rank of lieutenant commander during World War II. He commanded PC 1251 in the Palau Islands invasion and the destroyer escort USS Reinhardt in both Atlantic and Pacific operations. But there's also one thing that I really thought was cool about Woody Hayes. Because of his knowledge in the military, history, and ongoing popularity in the early 1980s, he hosted the broadcast of 6 World War II films for WBNS TV in Columbus. Among the movies that he broadcasted was Patton, Midway, The Weakest Ship in the Army, Desert Fox, The Story of Rommel, and Tora Tora Tora. He also gave salty perspectives related to each movie, depending on the movie. Segments were taped in locations such as Fort Knox, West Point, the USS Yorktown, and Stuttgart, Germany, where he actually met Manfred Rommel, Lord of Stuttgart, Germany, and son of Erwin Rommel. On March 11th, 1987, Hayes knew that his health was failing when he had someone drive him in his pickup truck down to Dayton to introduce Bo Schembechler, who was speaking at a banquet. The organizers tried to discourage him from attending, but he insisted, and he stayed to hear Bo Schembechler's speech after introducing him. The next morning, March 12th, Woody Hayes' wife, Ann, found him unconscious in their bed in their home. He had passed away from a heart attack at the age of 74. At Woody Hayes' funeral at First Community Church in Marble City, Ohio on March 17, 1987, former President Richard Nixon delivered a eulogy before a crowd of 1,400 people, acknowledging the friendship between the two during his second term as vice president. Having met Hayes at a reception in 1957, Nixon recalled, "I wanted to talk about football, Woody wanted to talk about foreign policy. And you know Woody, we talked about foreign policy." The following day, more than 15,000 people took part in a memorial service at the Ohio State Stadium. All right, guys, that's going to be a wrap on the life and death of Coach Woody Hayes, the Ohio State Buckeyes. How cool was it to see some of the history here in Columbus, Ohio of Woody Hayes? I love history, especially being here in Ohio, and as a football fan, it kind of hits close to home seeing some of the historical things and the trophies and all that stuff, but I'm a baseball guy. My heart belongs to the West Coast. Although, as an Ohio native, I strongly respect the Ohio State Buckeyes. I'll always be a Buckeye at heart. Can't stand the team up north. With that being said, can I get an OH? Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you guys on the next one. Be safe. We'll see you guys later.